So I've been planning this little project for quite some time now, researching what plants to use, thinking about the design, and now it's time for the fun bit, the planting. So I've already started to arrange some of the plants according to my plan, thinking about the schemes, the colours, how they're going to work together with the textures, and obviously the conditions that I've got here as well. I've laid them all out. I've still got a few more to go actually, and then it's time to get them in the ground. Now those agapanthus, they like a nice bright sunny position and not to be shaded out by anything else, so they're going right at the front of the border here. Now it's always good to remember to plant in groups of 3s, 5s. Odd numbers always look best when you're planting in small little groups, or you can create like a nice drift running through the border in a bit of a zigzag, so it's not going to be a dead straight line. And those are the techniques that I'm using here. Next up, I'm going to be planting the foxgloves, which are going to grow quite tall, and I especially want some height at the back of the border and also in that pocket over there at the back. So I'm going to group them in 3s and 5s throughout the border. And now it's time to plant the erigeron right at the front of the border to soften all that hard edging. And these little daisy flowers will bloom all summer and into autumn as well. How did I almost forget the biggest beast of all? It's always good to give yourself time to play around, to look at the overall scheme and move things about. And for me, I need to make sure it looks good from both angles. So as I come down into the gate and also from the bottom of the plot looking up. So I'm trying to make sure that it looks good from both sides and it's just not too one-dimensional and flat, that I've got those spikes of the foxgloves and soon to come the delphiniums that I need to sow throughout. So yeah, there's lots to think about, but it's all fun, and if it doesn't work I can always move things around for next year. Well, I was just about to plant that border, but now the snow's coming down and it's making my plan all wet. I might wait for this to blow over. Now these bare root roses don't look much yet, but they're soon going to burst. There's lots of buds all over them, and these have had a good soak in the watering can of water for about 20 minutes, half an hour before planting them, just to give them a good dunk of water basically. So I've got 3 each to plant here, and they've got quite deep roots, so it's important to dig a deep enough hole so that they don't end up folding back on themselves. You want those roots to grow downwards. And again, I'll put a lot of bloodfish and bone into the planting hole to get them off to a good start. You also want to make sure that you're not planting the rows too deep or too proud either. You want the graft to be just below the surface of the soil to prevent it from shooting up suckers from below the graft. If your plants are quite pot bound and the roots are spiraling around and around, it's a good idea just to loosen them up with your nails, give them a bit of a tickle, just to encourage them into their new planting hole in the soil. Hey, welcome back. It's been a few days. We had a bit of a technical hitch. My battery ran out, so I couldn't shoot the end of the footage when I was planting them, but they're all planted out, they've all been watered in, and they're starting to get their roots down into the ground. And today I just went to pick up some more compost from my local garden centre, and I spotted some of these bright blue violas. And as soon as I saw them, I thought this is just the perfect touch of blue colour that I'd like for spring, because at the moment, until those forget-me-nots come out, I don't have anything in there yet, and these should hopefully self-seed along the bed, and I might even put some in a container as well. And now that all of the planting is done, I've just got a few finishing touches with a few extra features that I've actually acquired from my grandmother's garden itself. So one of the first extra little features is making use of this little chimney pot. It was in my grandmother's garden. I do also have another quite large, pale, sort of stone coloured chimney pot as well, but I don't think I'm going to put that in here right away. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it yet, but I'm going to put some of these violas in this pot and put it somewhere in the border. A pot like this could dry out quite quickly because it's it's made of clay. It's going to get really warm, and there's not that much space in there really. So I'm hoping that by using this wool-based compost, the same which I use to mulch my beds, it's actually going to help retain some of that moisture a little bit better. And these will flower for a while yet. I'm going to try and squeeze 3 plants in here. So that's that done. I think I'm going to place it up to the top of the gate, and the good thing is I can always change this out and mix it up for some summer bedding, and then in the winter time, it might look nice with some trailing ivy down the front or something. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it won't dry out too much. Must remember to keep it well watered. I spent a lot of time in my grandmother's garden, particularly as I was growing up, spending a lot of my summer holidays there at her house, so I have fond memories of being outdoors and in her garden. And she had a lovely pond and a rockery, and one of the most nostalgic items for me in her garden was this tortoise. And it's never had a name. I should probably name it, but it's probably as old as me. It's lost a leg, it's got his battle scars from 30 odd years of me being around it and standing on it as a child, which I shouldn't have done. But yes, he's now got a permanent new home here on my allotment, so I'm very pleased to welcome him. Let me know if you think of an ideal name for him. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to put him in the border somewhere, maybe underneath the bird feeders. It's also got a little baby one as well, which I need to find, so let's nestle him in. How about that? I've also got this stone statue, or is it concrete? I'm not sure, from my grandmother's garden, and she looked really at home there behind the pond with the muscari growing beneath her feet. And she's a lovely little woman or girl with a basket of flowers, and she's also carrying some flowers as well. And it's one of those things that you either love or you hate, and if I'm honest, I'm still not sure what I think about it. She looked right at home in my grandmother's garden, but I don't know if she'll fit in so well here, and I don't have any other sort of statues at the minute although I do have one other one that I've just acquired that's now in the wildlife corner. But we shall see. I'm not sure. She does have quite a nice silhouette from behind as well, actually, with her hair up and her basket of goods. I'm just not so sure. What do you think? I think maybe once the flowers are growing around it and you know, it's a bit more subtle, or if I put her more in the border, it might work. Yeah, let me know what you think. The last thing I want to do to the border is to direct sow a few seeds, and I've got here some nigella, which is also called love in a mist, and it grows this really delicate feathery foliage and a really gorgeous blue, sometimes pink, sometimes white, but these should be blue, flower, and they'll self-seed profusely, so hopefully, fingers crossed, if they bloom this year I won't need to re-sow them next year. They'll look after all of that for me. So yeah, I've got lots of seeds in the bottom of this tray, and I'm just going to dampen the ground with some water first, and then I will sprinkle the seeds on top and wait for them to germinate. Well, that's it. The new border is finally complete, and I'm really chuffed with it, and there's a good chance I may have put too many plants in, but for now, you know, I'm happy it's done. I may well be moving things, rearranging, adding new bits, taking bits out, which may well happen, but I'm really chuffed with it. So as is tradition, let's start at the top of the gate and have a close-up tour of the new border. So at the very top of the gate we've got that variegated carex against that log. I haven't put the stone edging right up to the top because of the way that the gate opens. We've got the new little chimney pot with some little blue violas, really nice deep blue that against the green and that terracotta orange. And in front of that we have some forget-me-not that's just beginning to come out into bloom now. And because this is the driest area, I've put some sedum up here because they are quite drought resistant. We've got those in a little 3 with some primroses and more forget-me-not as you go down. There's some nepeta, and we've got this geranium, the Johnson's blue, that's going to make a nice big mound at the front there, maybe even spill out over the edging. There's the first of the Mary Rose from David Austin, followed by more nepeta, some pansies, and it generally tries to repeat itself as it goes down, but here's the view from the top. I love the way the edging just makes that formal sort of edge now. And speaking of these stones, I noticed these the other day. I put them in a little pile, and it looks like a song thrush has already started to use this edging as its anvil for breaking open the snail shells to get the snail inside, which keeps in check my populations. I've never had a problem with snails, and I very rarely actually see them alive. I'm more likely to find the little shells like that all broken up. So yeah, we've got lots of pops of blue appearing. Here's some of that erigeron, the daisy flower, that's going to make a nice big mound here, soften that edge. The nepeta, actually, some of it is already starting to create flower buds, look. And this will grow quite short. Most things in this border are quite short. I don't want them to go too tall because of the hedge behind. And look at that lovely primula that I moved from the little seed bed that I had. And the great thing about these is they just bloom and bloom for months and months in the spring. And next to it we've got the first of the Alchemilla mollis. They have a nice bright yellow flower, this will. That will really contrast and complement the blues that will be around it. And another of the Mary Rose roses is over here. And it looks like the rose is already nicely budding. I wonder how many blooms we'll have in its first year. Not too many, but we shall see. And going a little bit further, we've got the carex again, with its lovely little seed heads on the top. And a peony. This was also taken from my grandmother's garden. don't really like to be transplanted early in the year. They prefer an autumn transplant, but it might just mean it doesn't flower this year and it might flower next. We shall see. More forget-me-not, and it just repeats from here on. More Nepeta, another rose, more peonies, and this is also where I self-sowed some of those Nigella, love in a mist. We've got lots of foxgloves there at the back. They'll be blooming early June, peachy apricot colour. And I'll also have some delphiniums to go in the back there as well. I've left the statue in there for now. And here's some of the love in a mist actually that I sowed in the polytunnel late winter, I think. I can't remember. They're not looking too happy. I did leave them in the seed trays for a bit too long, but hopefully they should perk up. And yeah, the idea is to create a nice little drift running through here of that feathery foliage. I really do love it. And then underneath the old plum tree, of course, we've got the jasmine. It's already very well established. I do need to make a few more supports for it to cling onto, but it's already finding its way, which is great, and the birds enjoy darting between it and also getting any bugs that might be on there. And of course, underneath I had to put back those wooden logs and create lots of hidey holes for the mice and the voles that use it as a shelter, so that they can pick up any of the remaining seed that falls from the bird feeders and onto the ground. There's lots of little hidey holes there where they can sneak through, and also gives a space for any amphibians to hibernate over the winter. And so as you go down into the bottom corner, we've got those chunks of agapanthus that I divided, some more foxgloves, the cute little violas, and some more of the erigeron. There's also another peony there at the back. If I just stand up and move around, we've also got that silvery blue sedum there that'll make a nice big pink mound in the autumn time. And not forgetting our new little tortoise friends. And if I just turn and pan all the way back up, and this is now the border complete. Now that everything's planted, it's just a case of making sure that it establishes really well by giving it lots of water regularly, particularly in any dry spells that we may have. And so far this year we're actually having a really dry spring, so I'll make sure that I give it plenty of water to make sure all those roots anchor down and get all the plants off to a really good start. So yeah, I'm just looking forward now to watching it grow, watching all the flowers bloom and seeing how it changes and grows over the next few months. We're going to have lots of blues come out very soon, followed by hopefully some of the Mary Rose roses, although I'm not sure how many blooms we'll get in its first year. But yeah, we shall see. It's all rather exciting. I hope you've enjoyed this little mini-series so far. In the next instalment, it might be a while now until everything looks tip-top in all full bloom. We'll see how that looks. But yes, thank you very much for watching. I think my grandma would be proud. I really can't wait to see it come out into bloom. So yeah, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you again real soon.